3,000 years, the Galactic Council had maintained one absolute rule: never invite humans to a diplomatic summit. Humanity was considered unpredictable, not the strongest species, not the fastest, not the most technologically advanced, but unpredictable, and that was exactly why the galaxy feared them. Then, on the planet Veron Prime, the impossible happened. The most dangerous species in known space arrived for a diplomatic dinner. They were called the Carvens. Every civilization knew their name. The Carvens were apex predators, 8 feet tall, covered in armored scales, with claws capable of cutting through military steel. Their teeth could crush bone. Their eyesight could detect movement from kilometers away. They had conquered 42 worlds. Their warriors had never surrendered, and their emperor Varkle had personally killed 3 alien kings during negotiations. The Galactic Council had invited them to dinner because everyone believed the Carvens were preparing another war. Then the Council received an unexpected message. Humanity will host a Carven delegation. The Council chamber went silent. One alien ambassador laughed nervously. Humans? Another whispered. They're going to get themselves killed. But humanity accepted. 3 days later, the Carven Emperor arrived on Earth. His soldiers stepped from their massive black shuttle. Every human guard nearby looked tiny compared to them. Varkle entered the diplomatic building. He expected fear. Instead, a human woman smiled and said, "Welcome to Earth." Varkle stared at her. "Where's your military escort?" She pointed toward the dining hall. "You're looking at it." The Carvens laughed. They thought humanity was making a joke. Then the doors opened. Inside was the largest dinner table the Carvens had ever seen, and sitting around it were ordinary humans, scientists, engineers, doctors, children, even elderly couples. Varkle looked confused. "We're your warriors." The human ambassador smiled. "We didn't invite warriors. Tonight, you're our guests." The Carven Emperor sat down, but before he could touch his food, a human child walked toward him. She looked up at the enormous predator, then asked innocently, "Are you really the scary aliens who eat people?" The entire room froze. Varkle slowly smiled, only when they deserve it. The child thought for a moment, then placed a plate in front of him. "Then try this." Varkle looked down. It was a simple human meal. He tasted it. His expression changed. For the first time in centuries, a Carven Emperor looked genuinely surprised. "This," he looked at the humans, "is delicious." Everyone laughed, but nobody noticed a tiny alien drone hovering outside the window. It transmitted one message to the Galactic Council: "The humans are feeding the Carvens." The Council's response came immediately. "Why?" The drone answered, "We don't know." Then another message arrived from Earth. "Dinner is only the beginning." The first dinner lasted 6 hours. The Carvens expected manipulation. They expected threats. They expected humans to demand military agreements. Instead, humans talked about food, music, family, sports, engineering. The Carvens didn't understand. Their civilization had never separated diplomacy from warfare. For them, every meeting was a battlefield. But humans treated the dinner like an actual dinner. Then something unexpected happened. A Carven warrior named Rock noticed something on the wall, a photograph. It showed a human family standing beside a small spacecraft. Rock pointed at it. "Your species travels in these?" The engineer beside him smiled. "That one is old." "How old?" "About 40 years. Rock stared. "Then what do you use now?" The engineer laughed. "You really don't want to know." The Carven warrior looked suspicious. "Why?" "Because your emperor just ordered us not to discuss military technology during dinner." The Carvens laughed. For the first time, they felt comfortable around humans. Then the alarm sounded. Everyone stopped. A military officer rushed into the dining hall. "Sir," the human ambassador stood. "What happened?" The officer whispered something. The ambassador's expression changed. The Carven Emperor immediately noticed. "Who attacked?" The ambassador shook his head. "No one attacked us." "Then why the alarm?" The ambassador looked toward the Carvens. Because something has entered our solar system. The Carven soldiers immediately stood. Weapons appeared. Their instincts took over. But the human ambassador raised one hand. Relax. Varkle stared at him. You said something entered your system. Yes. How many ships? The ambassador answered. Approximately 12,000. The Carvens laughed. Then why are you calm? The ambassador looked at them. Because they're not here for us. The Carven emperor stopped smiling. Who are they? The human officer answered. The Zorti. Every Carven warrior froze. Varkle's face changed. The Zorti were the only species the Carvens feared. They had destroyed entire Carven fleets. They had never negotiated, never surrendered, never accepted prisoners. And now, 12,000 Zorti warships were approaching Earth. Varkle stood. We must leave. The human ambassador shook his head. No. Varkle stared. What? The ambassador smiled. You're our guests. We don't abandon our guests. Outside, the sky filled with enemy ships. And for the first time, the Carvens realized they might have made the biggest mistake of their lives. They had come to Earth expecting humans to protect themselves. They hadn't realized humanity intended to protect them. The Zordi fleet surrounded Earth, 12,000 warships, each one larger than a human city. Their commander opened every communication channel. Humans, returned the Carven Emperor. The human ambassador stepped onto the balcony. No, the Zorti commander laughed. You think your primitive fleet can stop us? The ambassador smiled. We don't need to. The Zorti commander looked confused. Then, every human civilian building on Earth went dark. The lights disappeared. The cities became silent. Then the ground beneath them opened. Massive underground structures rose from beneath the planet. The Carven stared. One soldier whispered, Those aren't cities. They're weapons. The human ambassador turned toward Varkle. You asked earlier where our warriors were. Varkle nodded. The ambassador pointed toward the horizon. Now you know. Across Earth, millions of hidden defense systems activated. Orbital stations emerged from camouflage. Moon-sized platforms moved into position. Thousands of human warships appeared from underground launch facilities. The Zordi fleet stopped laughing. Their commander scanned the human fleet. His face slowly changed. How many ships? The AI responded. Unknown. Estimate. Unable. The commander stared. Then another system activated. A human ship appeared. Then 10. Then 1,000. Then millions. The sky became black. The Carven soldiers stood completely silent. Their emperor looked at the human ambassador. You hid this? The ambassador nodded. For centuries. Why? The human smiled. Because the galaxy was watching our weapons. We were building something else. What? The ambassador looked toward Earth. A civilization capable of protecting itself without becoming a monster. The Zorti attacked. Thousands of weapons fired simultaneously. The human fleet moved. Not chaotically. Perfectly. Every ship knew its position. Every weapon struck with precision. The Zordi fleet began collapsing. But humanity didn't destroy them. They disabled them. One by one. Within 20 minutes, the entire Zordi fleet was powerless. The Carvens stared in disbelief. They had spent centuries trying to defeat the Zorti. Humanity had done it during dinner. Varkle slowly sat down, then asked, Why didn't you destroy them? The ambassador answered, Because they can surrender. The Carven emperor stared at the human. You're different. The ambassador smiled. That's what we've been trying to tell the galaxy. The Zorti commander was brought into the dining hall. He looked at the Carven emperor, then at the humans. He expected execution. Instead, a human placed a plate of food in front of him. Eat! The Zorti stared. Why? Because you're probably hungry. The Carven emperor began laughing. The Zorti commander looked confused. What is funny? Varkle pointed toward the human. Humans. They defeat your entire fleet, and then feed you. The Zorti commander slowly tasted the food, then looked at the Carvens. This is good. Varkle laughed even harder. The atmosphere changed. Enemies who had fought for centuries were suddenly sitting around the same table. But then the human ambassador stood. There's something you all need to know. The room became silent. Why did the Zorti attack Earth? The commander looked down. We didn't. Everyone froze. What? The commander continued. We were running. The human ambassador's expression changed. Running from what? The Zorti commander looked toward the window. His voice became quiet. The Devourers. The Carvens stopped laughing. The Devourers were a myth, a species supposedly capable of consuming entire civilizations. Varkle shook his head. They don't exist. The Zorti commander answered. We said the same thing. Then the human sensors detected something, a massive object beyond the solar system. Then another, then thousands. The human AI spoke. Unknown fleet detected. The ambassador looked at the Carvens. How many? The AI answered. Estimated population, 900 million vessels. Silence. Varkle stood slowly. The Devourers. The human ambassador nodded. The dinner had suddenly become something else. It wasn't diplomacy anymore. It was the beginning of the greatest alliance the galaxy had ever seen. The Devourer fleet arrived. The stars disappeared behind them. Billions of ships crossed the galaxy. Every civilization began preparing for war. But something unexpected happened. The Carvens didn't run. Their emperor stood beside the human ambassador. You protected us. The ambassador nodded. Varkle looked toward the enemy. Then we'll protect you. The Zorti commander joined them. For the first time, we fight together. Humanity had accomplished something no empire had achieved in thousands of years. It had united three species that had been enemies for generations. Humans, Carvens, Zorti. The final battle began. Human ships formed the center. Zorti fleets protected the flanks. And the Carven warriors led the assault. They fought like monsters. The galaxy watched in disbelief as the species once feared by everyone fought alongside humans. The Devourers pushed forward. One planet fell. Then another. Human fleets were destroyed. Carven warriors disappeared by the thousands. Zorti ships exploded across the stars. But the Alliance refused to break. Then the human ambassador revealed the final plan. The humans hadn't been building weapons. They had been building a galactic shield. Every major civilization had unknowingly helped construct it. Every communication station, every energy grid, every orbital platform, every colony. Together, they formed one enormous defense network. The ambassador gave command. Connect everything. Across the galaxy, millions of worlds activated. The stars began glowing. The entire galaxy became a shield. The Devourers attacked. Their weapons struck the barrier and failed. For the first time, the Predators were trapped. The final battle lasted 17 hours. When the sun finally rose over Earth, the Devourers were gone. Their fleet had surrendered. The galaxy survived. But the most important victory wasn't military. It was what happened afterward. Humanity invited every major civilization to Earth, not for a war council, not for negotiations, for dinner. The same dining hall where the Carvens had first arrived was expanded to hold thousands of species. Carven warriors sat beside Zorti commanders. Human children ran between the tables. Alien ambassadors tasted human food. Nobody carried weapons. Nobody issued threats. For the first time in galactic history, the galaxy ate together. Varkle lifted his glass. To humanity, the Zorti commander raised his. To the species that defeated us without destroying us. The human ambassador smiled. To the galaxy. Then a Carven child climbed onto a chair. He looked at the humans and asked, "Why did you invite us?" The room became quiet. The human ambassador smiled. Because we discovered something important. Being the strongest species in the galaxy isn't about having the biggest weapon. It's about deciding when not to use it. The Carven Emperor looked around the table, then laughed. The galaxy spent 3,000 years calling us apex predators. He looked at humanity. But today, I think we finally found a real apex species. The humans laughed. Outside the window, Thousands of alien and human ships flew together across Earth's sky, not as enemies, not as conquerors, but as one fleet. And from that day forward, the greatest story in galactic history was no longer about the wars humanity had won. It was about the day humans invited the galaxy's most terrifying predators to dinner and convinced them to become family.